Still think that owning a Tesla or jetting off to Paris means you've made it in America? Think again. Because when you peel back the curtain, the real net worth numbers that define the middle class, upper class, and wealthy in the United States are nothing like what you see on Instagram. These are United States national figures. Depending on where you live, the true cutoffs could be even more surprising. If you're tired of guessing where you stand, or you've spent years aiming for the wrong financial target, missing this breakdown might mean wasting years of effort chasing an illusion. Stay tuned, because in the next few minutes I'm going to reveal the actual dollar amounts for each wealth class, show you where you fit, and give you quick win steps to start moving up the ladder. Whether your bank account says $100, $100,000, or $10 million, have you ever caught yourself scrolling through social media late at night, seeing one friend post pictures sipping espresso in Rome, another showing off a shiny new Tesla, and suddenly you're left wondering, where do I actually fit in the real hierarchy of American wealth? Maybe instead of sleeping, you're staring at your bank account, trying to decide if you're crushing it or falling behind. Or maybe you've heard terms like middle class, upper middle class, and wealthy tossed around, but no one ever tells you what dollar amounts those really mean. Today I'm going to pull back the curtain on net worth benchmarks that most Americans, and honestly most experts, completely misunderstand. We're talking real, United States-based numbers that define every major American wealth class, from the lower class all the way to the ultra-rich. Some of these figures are probably going to shock you. Some might give you a confidence boost about where you stand, and others might be the wake-up call you need to transform your strategy forever. One quick note before we start. These are national United States dollar amounts, so if you're living in New York City, San Francisco, or Honolulu, your local numbers may be even higher. Conversely, if you're based in a rural area or small town, the lifestyle attached to each bracket will look radically different. A $2 million net worth in Manhattan is comfortable, but in Omaha, it's lavish. If you don't understand these distinctions, you could spend years chasing a moving target and never actually feel secure. So let's get right into it. First, ask yourself, when you picture someone wealthy, what comes to mind? Is it a trophy home and a six-figure car collection? Maybe it's just the neighbor who's always vacationing and never seems stressed about money. Here's where reality disconnects from perception. Most people overestimate what it actually takes to move up a wealth class and completely underestimate just how eye-popping the real numbers are, especially at the top. And that's why understanding these numbers isn't just curiosity. It's a framework for setting your own goals. If you're on a fitness journey, you look to the average body weight for your height or age. If you're in school, you check the average and top scores. Wealth works the same way. Except most Americans are flying blind because the true stats are buried in Federal Reserve reports, not dinner table conversations. Let's start with the facts. According to the latest 2022 Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median American household net worth is $192,900. That's right. Not income, but total net worth, including your home's equity, investments, savings, and debts. But here's a number that'll break your brain. The average net worth nationwide is $1,060,000. That's more than 5 times the median. What's going on here? The answer is what statisticians call skew. A handful of ultra-wealthy households have so much money, they drag up the average for everyone. Picture this. If you had 100 people in a room, and 3 of them owned 1/3 of all the pizza, drinks, and everything else, the average person's slice would be enormous. Even if most people only get a little, this is exactly how wealth functions in America. According to the Fed, the top 1% of households control nearly 32% of all wealth in the United States. Remember, out of every 100 families, just one controls about 1/3 of everything valuable. Pretty staggering, right? But what does that mean for you? Let's break this down into concrete net worth brackets. The actual cutoffs for each wealth class. If you want to jump ahead to the upper class benchmarks or just grab a cheat sheet of these numbers, Check the timestamps and graphic linked in the video description. First up, it's the lower class, sometimes referred to as the poverty class, covers households with a net worth from $0 up to $16,900. The median net worth here clocks in just over $6,000. Yes, you heard that right. $6,000. That's less than a used car or a week at Disney World for a family of 4. Before you assume this is always about bad decisions or laziness, remember, net worth includes young grads with student debts, people rebuilding after divorce, or anyone recovering from big one-time expenses. Life context matters. But what unites this group isn't just the number, it's the cycle. Living paycheck to paycheck, no emergency fund, often relying on high-interest credit or payday loans, where every financial curveball is an existential threat. Quick reality check, When your resources are this limited, basic things cost more. No upfront cash equals no bulk discounts, higher interest loans, security deposits for apartments and utilities. It's expensive to be poor in America. One reason why social mobility is so tough. One quick win for escaping this bracket. Automate just $10 to $20 a paycheck into an emergency fund. Even a small cash buffer reduces your risk of going deeper into debt next time life hits you with a surprise. Start with a simple online high-yield savings account like Ally, Marcus, or Capital One 360 and set up auto transfer. Even $20 a month can add up to $240 a year. Enough to avoid a predatory payday loan the next time you have an unexpected expense. To recap, lower class equals under $16,900 net worth. Median around $6,000. And the biggest financial trap is getting locked in by unpredictable expenses. Now, let's move up to the lower middle class. A bracket that often gets overlooked, but is key to understanding America's money ladder. Here, the net worth range is $16,900 to $43,000. The median for this group is about $27,900. People here have managed some savings, maybe finally paid off their credit card debt or started building a small retirement account. But they're still just one emergency away from serious financial stress. Typical jobs here. Skilled trades, technicians, some supervisors or service workers. Maybe you've bought a car with cash or started a retirement account, but things still feel fragile. One peculiar pain point for lower middle class, you usually earn too much for government benefits but not enough to bounce back easily from a lost job or medical bill. A quick win tip here. Prioritize building a 3-month emergency fund before investing in riskier assets. Try this. Every time you get a raise, even if it's just 2%, automatically increase your savings rate before your lifestyle can inflate to absorb it. Use a budgeting app like YNAB or Mint to set up this incremental step. That little behavior, saving raises instead of spending them, is one of the top ways people break out of this bracket in research. So, lower middle class equals $16,900 to $43,000. Net worth, a median about $27,900. And every dollar saved brings you closer to true security. Curious where you thought you landed and where the data actually says you are? Drop a comment below. Which bracket did you expect to be in? And where did you actually fall when you added everything up? Our Money Masters community is all about honest reflection, not judgment. And I guarantee you're not alone, whether you feel relieved or shocked. Next up, the middle class. This is the one most Americans identify with, whether or not their net worths line up with the stats. Officially, the middle class runs from $43,000 to $145,200 in net worth, with the true median for this group sitting at about $89,000. These folks have started to hit classic financial milestones. Home ownership, steady retirement contributions, maybe a 401k and an IRA, and an ability to afford modest family vacations or handle minor emergencies without going into debt. But there's a massive range here. A household at $50,000 net worth is still sweating big purchases, while someone at $145,000 is usually comfortable, not thinking constantly about every dollar. The unifying factor is that middle-class households are planning for the future and not just living paycheck to paycheck. Here's the quick win tactic for this bracket. Max out your 401k match if your employer offers one. If you don't have a workplace plan, open a Roth IRA at Fidelity or Vanguard and set up $100 per month automatic. Investments. Target diversified index funds like VTI or FXAIX. Even small regular contributions, started early, are the single most reliable path to moving up to the upper middle class over a decade. Recap. Middle class equals $43,000 to $145,200 in net worth, median about $89,000, and the right retirement plan and automated investing are your elevator to the next floor. But the real curveball comes when you see what it actually takes to be upper middle class in America? This is the part most people get wrong. Ready? Upper middle class starts at a net worth of $145,200 and stretches all the way up to about $500,000, sometimes higher depending on region. The median in this range comes in at $320,000. These households are what money pros sometimes call HENRYs, high earners, not rich yet. We're talking doctors, attorneys, business owners, top managers, or anyone else earning six figures and steadily accumulating assets. If your annual income is north of $140,000, statistically you're likely in this bracket, provided you've been saving and investing for several years. But here's the catch. Upper middle class often looks like being rich, but it doesn't always feel like it. Why? Enter lifestyle inflation. The starter home becomes a $700,000 two-story. The serviceable Honda is swapped for a new luxury SUV. Vacations go from regional trips to first-class flights and resort stays. Suddenly, despite earning 3 times what you did 10 years ago, life still feels expensive. And you're not as far ahead as you thought. Behavioral research confirms this is the most common trap for high earners. Spending grows step for step with income unless you consciously block lifestyle creep. If you only take one tip from today's video for this bracket, let it be this. Reverse budget your investments. Each year before spending a raise or bonus, decide what percentage you'll automatically invest. Say 25% of any raise over $5,000. Aim to max out IRAs and workplace retirement plans, plus 5 to 10% in taxable brokerage accounts. Most upper-middle-class households who get ahead automate it. Tools like Personal Capital now empower, or Fidelity can track whether you're slipping into status spending instead of compounding wealth. Recap. Upper middle class equals $145,200 to $500,000 net worth, median around $320,000. And the killer app is automating your savings before your lifestyle expands. But wait. The story gets even more interesting at the truly wealthy level. Let's talk about the upper class. According to the most recent data, you need a net worth of at least $500,000 to enter the upper class. But for context and consistency, many economists use $2,650,000 as the beginning of the upper class by wealth. From there, the lower tier of the upper class spans $2,650,000 up to around $5,800,000. The median here is roughly $3,400,000. This is rarefied air, even among high-income cities. So what does life look like? At this bracket, you might own multiple properties, invest in commercial real estate, and your investment portfolio is doing more work than you are. Many are still working, often by choice rather than necessity, and making high-level financial decisions woven into everyday life. Tax loss harvesting, gifting strategies, foundation setup, critical behavior for this bracket. Protect what you've built. Diversification matters. This is the time to consult a certified financial planner or estate planner and consider umbrella, insurance policies, tax mitigation, and legacy planning. The top behavior for mobility here. Don't asset chase, meaning don't buy a new business or risky asset just because you can. Instead, continue building a strong, diversified portfolio with a long-term focus. and plan for generational wealth transfer. Recap. Upper class equals $2,650,000 to $5,800,000 in net worth, median around $3,400,000. And the mission is legacy and risk management, not just earning. And now, the myth and the mystique, the top 1%. If you want to join the true elite, you'll need at least $5,800,000 in net worth. Some studies put this number as high as $10 to $12 million. But $5,800,000 is the consensus for national averages. At this level, your investment returns alone can support multiple families' entire lifestyles for decades. You're not just wealthy, you're part of a group whose money makes more money than most people ever see in a lifetime. If you want a downloadable cheat sheet featuring every class and one quick win behavior for each, check the link in the description. I made it easy to save or print and stick on your fridge or office wall. Think of it as your roadmap or tracking chart, no matter where you are today. What separates the top 1% from the rest? Two things. Access to unique opportunities. Think hedge funds, private equity, complex real estate, and a relentless focus on compounding protection and legacy. And get this. There's another, even narrower tier. The top 0.1%, which starts at a net worth of around $62 million. These are the unicorns. Business founders, heirs, ultra-successful investors. At this level, you're accessing private deals and investments regular millionaires haven't even heard of. Here's a myth-busting moment for your group chat. Most millionaires, even most people in the upper and 1% brackets, don't look anything like what you see on Instagram. According to research from J.P. Morgan and Ramsey Solutions, the typical millionaire is more likely to drive a Toyota or Ford than a Bentley. Their wealth is mostly invisible, showing up as investments, paid-off homes, or businesses. So don't buy into the Ferrari at 30 narrative. It's mostly fiction. If you're chasing the average millionaire, you're probably overestimating how far you have to go. Focus on medians, not outliers. But here's an even subtler twist. Perspective depends on geography. What qualifies as wealthy in Omaha? Nebraska might just be middle class in San Jose. California, in high-cost states like Connecticut, you might need over $1 million in annual income just to break into the top 1% of earners, whereas in West Virginia it's only about $416,000 a year. That means a $2 million net worth gets you a palatial home in some places, and a small apartment in others. Don't just focus on national numbers. Always factor in local cost of living. At this point you might be wondering, is this discouraging or motivating? Honestly, most people feel a mix of relief and anxiety when seeing these stats side by side. If that's you, please sound off in the comments with how these benchmarks make you feel. A lot of our viewers say just knowing where they actually stand makes the next steps clearer, not scarier. How do people actually break out of one wealth class and move up? Here's what research and real-world evidence say. It usually comes down to a handful of high-impact habits that compound over years, not instant hacks. Let's run through one per bracket. Lower class, automate even $10 to $20 per paycheck to break the debt cycle and spark momentum. Lower middle class, redirect every raise, even 1%, into savings before lifestyle upgrades. Multiple studies show this is the fastest path to escaping financial fragility. Middle class. Max out employer retirement matches and start low-fee Roth IRA or index fund contributions. Consistent investing wins over all-or-nothing leaps. Upper middle class. Reverse budget investment contributions and block lifestyle. Creep with automatic increases every year. Upper class and top 1%. Shift to asset protection, diversified legacy building, and regular work with credentialed professionals to sustain wealth over generations. For most people, changing their wealth class is about small, automatic, repeatable habits, not dramatic windfalls or lucky breaks. Don't let social comparisons knock you off track. Before we wrap up, Here's your at-a-glance chart. Pause and screenshot, or grab the printable in the description for your own tracker. Lower class. 0 to $16,900. Median $6,000. Key habits. Start an emergency fund. Lower middle. Yeah. $16,900 to $43,000. Median $27,900. Key habit. Save raises. Build 3-month fund. Middle. $43,000 to $145,200. Median $89,000. Key habit. Max out retirement matches. Upper middle. $145,200 to $500,000. Median $320,000. Key habit. Automate investments. Reverse budget. Upper class. $2,650,000 to $5,800,000. Median $3,400,000. Key habit. Diversification, legacy planning, 1%. $5,800,000 and above. Median $13,800,000. Key habit. Diversify. Partner with advisors. 0.1% hit to $62 million and above. Habit. Multi-generational planning. Private access. All stats based on 2022 Federal Reserve and recent academic studies. See links and sources in the description for detailed charts by age and region. Let's hit a quick recap. Today you got clarity on exactly where you fit on America's financial ladder, so from a median net worth of $6,000 in the lower class all the way to the $62 million benchmark for the ultra-wealthy. Using 2022 Federal Reserve data and verified academic research. For every bracket, I shared not just the numbers, $16,900, $145,200, $320,000, $5,800,000. But the one quick win behavior most linked to moving up a level. Automated savings, redirecting raises, consistent index investing, lifestyle defense, or professional diversification. Here's exactly what to do next. First, total up your net worth. Add up all your assets, like home equity, investments, and cash, and subtract all your debts. Compare to the benchmarks in the free chart. Download it from the description. Print, or save it to your phone for easy reference. Pick the one next quick win behavior for your bracket. Maybe it's setting up an automatic transfer, upping your retirement contribution by 1%, or starting a Roth IRA at Fidelity or Vanguard. Set a 30-day milestone, like saving your first $200 extra, and track it using a free tool like Mint or Empower. Over the next 6 to 12 months, check your progress against the chart. See how your net worth grows, and adjust your habits as your bracket shifts upward. Remember, change happens in months and years, not overnight. But with compounding, results accelerate with each new habit. Most Money Masters viewers see the greatest jump in confidence in the first 30 to 90 days. Just from tracking and acting with intention, so start as soon as this video ends. If you want more practical breakdowns of wealth, money mistakes, or investment strategies, make sure to subscribe to Money Masters and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping a deep dive next week on the exact index funds I use, the risk and reward math behind them, and how to build a balanced portfolio from scratch. If seeing these stats gave you relief, stress, or any new motivation, comment below with your reaction. This is the most discussed topic among our viewers, so you're not alone, and your honesty will help someone else. And if you found value in today's insights, share this video with a friend who's always second-guessing where they stand financially. Let's help more people set real, data-backed goals together. Not financial advice. All education here is for general informational purposes only. Always consult a licensed financial or tax advisor before making major decisions, as local and personal factors vary.